All right, hey everyone, Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection. Back to the usual spot because today I want to talk about this magazine, Wrestling Classics. Pro Wrestling Illustrated presents Wrestling Classics. These were an interesting book that were out, this is January 1990, and all it was just old articles from the old magazines that they brought back to life for newer fans to read. And it's kind of like that Wrestling USA magazine that I talked about, right? Where they bring back the old articles. If you missed it, it's going to be in here. And I don't know, I guess this was their kind of like their way of maybe introducing fans to stories that they may have not known. But the cool thing about this is you get posters. There's Ric Flair and Roddy Piper from October 1982. There's Barry the Widowmaker Windham unchains his violence against his former mentor, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, which is kind of funny because he wasn't really the Widowmaker there. That was a WWF name. And there's Ernie, Big Cat Lad, and Andre the Giant from 1974. So these magazines, like I said, were just like this article here is from, I guess it doesn't really tell you where it's from in this one. I want to say they do as time goes on. They tell you where it's from. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of these. The Sheik Mall's Jose Lothario. That was way before Shawn Michaels had him as a mentor, so I didn't even know that. But they also have newer stories in these books. AWA Team Challenge Series, Early Fireworks. That's when AWA had that going on in 1990. So they kind of mixed, I guess, both. Because, Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude Intercontinental titles on the other one. But, like, right here, what's it like to be tortured by the Sheik? Just interesting little who will stand up to Bruiser Brody. Just interesting stories. Like, it's like, we'll just give you these old stories in case you missed it. You know, here's a poster from a picture from 1971 with Freddie Blassie. There's the steel cage with Hogan and Macho Man. That's probably from 1989. And there's Hogan and Tito Santana from 1980. So these magazines, like I said, are just about rehashing old stuff. I had this one as a kid. I remember I owned this one. This was probably my first Wrestling Classics I ever owned then. And in here, too, I guess I should show this. They'll give you, like, this is from PWI April 1984. And then they'll give you the current one. And the current one here looks like it's from 1989 or early 1990 because Hogan's champion and Warrior's #1 contender. So I'm going to guess that's late 89. Probably. It's hard to tell. Oh, yeah. Right here. November 22nd, 1989. So, yeah. Again, I had this one as well. And I'm not really sure what made me buy these at the time. Like I always said, I pretty much based it on covers. So I guess, that had Hogan and Orndorff. I do remember that feud. This had WrestleMania stuff. And I was a sucker for WrestleMania, right? So, especially that WrestleMania 6 from Toronto. There's Hogan and Bundy. And Steamboat and George the Animal with the Intercontinental title from WrestleMania 3. And there's the story on it. So, these magazines were neat if you missed out on something. Or if you just, or if you want to remember something. I had this magazine too as a kid. So I had a lot of these Wrestling Classics, but If you notice, like here, it starts saying it's no longer Pro Wrestling Illustrated presents. It's Captain Lou Albano's magazine now. I guess they're trying to make it look really old school. But here's the current story for this one. Next stop, the tag titles for the Orient Express. That did not happen. Wrestling's ugliest stars, eh? Well, there's Terry Gordy and Bam Bam as the centerfold. We got Abdullah and Eddie Gilbert. And Dusty Rhodes and Superstar Billy Graham from their feud. Let's see who the ugly people are in this. See if I can find it here. I don't really have a what do you call it? An index. So you kind of have to find them on your own. Oh, here they are. Ugly, the best of the rest. So they got some good ones here. The Samoans, that seems kind of mean. Fatu and Samu and Tama probably don't want to be considered ugly. Yeah, these were cool. I have a whole bunch of these. I got these in a lot when I was trying to just add to the collection. I had this as well as a kid. And look at that, Sylvester Stallone and Hulk Hogan on the cover there. Warning to Sting, there's a traitor in the Dudes with Attitude, so that's definitely 1990. There's Sting and Warrior on the cover. You know, Sergeant Slaughter when he turned. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of these, and I did have this. I had this one as a kid. But look at this. I could have used this for my woman's magazine. I didn't even know this existed. So that's kind of neat that they did a woman's one. But yeah, these were just stories, like I said, about old articles that were in all the magazines. This one here is just strictly on Hulk Hogan. There's posters. Poster isn't in there tight though, but it's in there at least. And then the last one I have of this is, I have a whole bunch here. Like I said, I got, but this is the last one, Fall 93. And it talks about a lot of the big wrestlers, like Andre, Yoko, Vader. And there's a picture of Yoko. There's Andre and Kamala and Big Van Vader. A story on the One Man Gang when he was in Texas at the time for World Class. So these magazines are pretty pointless to have if you have all the other articles, the stories. It's just like Wrestling USA, pretty much. They're just rehash stories. If you have the wrestler, if you have Inside Wrestling, if you have PWI, you're gonna read them. They do have like a news story in it, right? Like right here, do they have it? Oh, wait, where's it at? No, that one's a bad example. Well, like here, like I said, there's put that back up. There's a traitor and the Dudes with Attitudes. That's current. That would be a current time frame, right? For the wrestling. So, I want to take a look at this for the posters for the women. We got Medusa Maselli and Wendy Richter. That's not women all. That's Johnny B. Bad and Richard Morton. Uh, and here we have Maria Laverne and Betty Nicoles. I don't know who they are. That's from 1972. So, but yeah, like you do get cool posters. I guess that's a bonus. If you haven't, collected magazines in the 70s or whatnot, you're probably gonna get articles you never knew before. So that's a bonus. But if you have everything, these aren't really needed unless you're collecting for the covers or because you're a completist or if you like the posters. I mean, those are your options. The stories are rehashed. They're recycled. There's nothing new except for the one article they put in there that's currently at that time that's going on, whether it's in the WWF or WCW. It's probably not needed. It's probably not a story that is worthwhile. You probably don't care to hear if the Orient Express are going to win the tag titles. Spoiler, they didn't. But the covers are kind of neat. They're colorful. They're you kind of get like caught up in it. Like for example, this, like that's the Macho Man, right? Everything about the Macho Man's right there. If you're a Randy Savage fan, you're gonna buy the magazine, and that's just that. But yeah, these are what they are. Like I said, I got them really cheap on eBay, in a lot, so I was okay with it. And now they just stay here. And wow, I just noticed something. Okay, so that Hogan there is the same. What's that? So that's something interesting. That's what I mean. You learn. You see things when you buy these magazines and you collect them. You see common traits where the pictures are being used. But it is what it is. They only have so many photos to use, and they're going to use what they can, and that's okay too. But let's be honest, these magazines aren't needed. They really aren't. They really weren't. But as a kid, I didn't know any better. I didn't have, a lot of the older stuff when I was a kid. I didn't get that until now, when I went on eBay in the last few years and bought everything that I could find. When you're a kid, you have what you have. And I didn't get a chance to read certain articles from the 70s or 80s, early 80s, because I just didn't have those magazines. So it's neat to read. It was neat to read them, I'll be honest. But if you have all those, you don't need these. Unless you're a completist, like I said, you don't need them. But it was a cool concept that they came out with at the time for fans. And I know fans bought them up, clearly, because I bought them. And other people had to have bought them too for me to buy them, off eBay. So they were a thing. And I'm not too sure when it ended. I'm guessing these probably ended around 93, 94. They started in 89. So it was, they had a few year run. They went, I believe, bi-monthly. So it would be like January, March, May, July, that kind of way. I'm pretty sure that's how it went, because that's what it looks like. They weren't like regularly every month coming out. So yeah, for anyone out there who wants to collect these, go for it. Do it because you're a completist or because you just enjoy the covers. If you already have Inside Wrestling, The Wrestler, or Pro Wrestling Illustrated from the 70s and 80s, you don't need these. There's just nothing worth getting for it, like I've said before. But as a completist, totally get them. I did. And I don't even have them all, but I would like to get them all. I don't even have the first magazine. The first one I have is January 90 right there. I think November 89 was the first one that came out and Hulk Hogan's on the cover. And I just haven't come across that one yet. So I'm going to try to find it, because I am kind of a what's the word? When you want to like have everything perfected. I can't think right now. It's late. I'm doing this recording at 2:48 a.m. because I'm wide awake still, and I just got done watching the WWE Network. I watched all of February 1993 Superstars tonight, so I didn't know what else to do, and I thought let's do a little video here of wrestling classics because I didn't really talk about them before, and I don't even know if many people know about this magazine, but it exists and it's out there. So if you want to collect it, go for it. By all means. I did. So other people did too. But yeah, you're not getting anything new out of it. So with that being said, I guess I will leave it at that. And go ahead and like, comment, do whatever. Talk about these magazines. If you've ever had, if you own this magazine, let me know. If you didn't know about this magazine, let me know. Right, like this is what this channel is all about: trying to inform people and interact and kind of bring people together for wrestling magazines, right? Because a lot of stuff are in these magazines that Vince McMahon and the WWE want you to forget or just not know, because he owns all the rights to everything now. And unless he ends up putting it on the WWE Network, you're probably not going to know it unless you buy these old magazines and read the stories. So that's one good thing about these old magazines, right? You can still have that wrestling history, that wrestling knowledge. So, okay then. Yes, the Wrestling Classics. This is my video on them. I don't really have anything else to say on it except for, like I said, if you're a completist, get them. And that's pretty much where I stay with that. So until I do another video, I'll talk to you later.